What is up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of Flipside Focus. Yes, it has been a hot minute, but I couldn't do this alone because, one, it'd be a boring show. Two, I have to have a robust machine join me for this. So I can't do it with a phone. I can't do it with an iPad, but the one machine I do rely on is none other than Johnny the Machine Hughes. Johnny, how are you, sir?
I am very well, thank you very much.
You know, that was a stretch to introduce you. I was just flying by the seat of my hair.
I didn't know what was longer, the intro to the stream or the intro to me.
I mean, it could have been worse.
But
do we really want to test that theory?
No.
Okay,
let's just let it slide. So. Let it slide.
Fair enough. Well, I'm excited. 2022, we got some new indie books to talk about.
Cool. You've been getting your indie fix?
You know, yes.
What have you been reading?
I've been going back through and reading books that I've, either backed, from the past and stuff like that. Just
cool.
A lot of the books that I had picked up, and they ended up going on the shelf. And now I was like, you know what? Let's go back and read them.
Okay.
I reread Morgan's Organs.
A favorite of yours?
Because that is definitely a favorite. And I believe we may even be getting book 4 this year, or at least the Kickstarter.
Very good.
Which would be a blast. So
good.
We'll see what happens. Hopefully that book will come out and life will be grand again. So all sorts of good stuff. Well, what about yourself?
Well, I've been checking out Frank Cho's Fight Girls from AWA.
Okay.
Yeah, that was pretty good. The last episode, the last issue, was a complete 360. And I was like, what the hell's going on? So that was interesting. Kept me on my toes. Mm-hmm. I've been reading Vampyverse from Tom Snigowski and Janine.
You do love your Vampy.
I do love Vampy, but I also love Tom Snigowski and Janine Aitchison. I think they've been absolutely bang on. I know that they've had other books out, like Panther came out from Dynamite as well. Interesting how that goes. Other than that, I've just been keeping my nose to the grindstone, I suppose. Loads of reviews for Crusaders. I've absolutely seen some absolute corkers. So if you want to see what I've been checking out over on Comics Crusaders, our sister site, go check them out. Reviews are there.
I like that plug for the parent site, if you will.
Advertising. That's what
you really should maybe do some voiceover.
Hi. Does your car need a wash? Why don't you call?
Oh, I was hoping for the hello. We have been trying to reach you about your car's extended warranty.
No, I'm not that cruel. I am not that cruel. Have you been involved in an accident? If I can replace that damn Geico lizard for the college football games, that'd be cool.
Yeah,
Geico. Hey, I'm there.
That lizard. Well, moving from lizards, how about we talk about some books that we've got today?
Yeah, sure. Let's go.
Now, normally I have a bigger coin, but today we're going with the old classic 25 cents.
Is that like a quarter?
Yeah, it's a quarter.
So that the quarter's back. like in Super Bowl Sunday?
No.
Okay.
You know, it's funny though. Speaking of Super Bowl, 6 years ago, the Broncos won Super Bowl 50. So, you know, good memories for me. How you feeling about the Dolphins' new head coach choice?
Yeah, I'm all right.
You all right with
actually.
it?
Yeah. You know, the proof's in the pudding. It makes me laugh when I read that they want to get Tua to throw a fast, efficient throwing game, and I'm thinking, well, hold on a second, you're just kicking his ass all season because that's what he's been doing, little dump offs. It's like, if it goes any quicker, the centre will be snapping the balls forward. We go turn the centre around that way and like fire it that way. Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Here we go on our football kick again. You know, Denver, we've got our new head coach. There's been talk about them trying to get Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if that's going to pan out, but if it doesn't, I read that they're going to go for Russell Wilson. So
I read Wilson isn't against the move to Washington, and I also read that your defensive coordinator might be heading Florida side to Miami.
Yeah.
So
who knows?
We'll see.
But the more important decision will be which way does the coin flip?
All right.
So, okay. Johnny, I will let you call heads or tails.
Always chasing the tails, baby.
Oh. Oh, it's like a touch card. Wait. Uh-huh. Head smiles, fortune wins. I go first.
Son of a... Wait a second. This isn't one of those dodgy two-faced coins, is it?
No.
Head you win, tails I lose. No.
You know what's funny? So there's your tail. There you go. See?
Okay. Cool. Thank you. Just checking.
Although, funny enough, talk about a shameless UCPN plug. I do have a new Magic deck coming called Heads I Win, Tails You Lose.
Well, have I started? Is that going to be on the Jank Think Tank anytime soon? Then
it will. Yeah, I'll do. What I'll end up doing is a reveal because it was a secret layer, so a special, kind of like a Kickstarter for Magic is the best way to put it.
So a Magic starter.
You know, what I'll do before we jump into my book, I'll show you this because it really is a cool idea. It's the first time that they've ever done something like this. Oh my gosh, there's been so many secret layers lately it's crazy. Where in the blue monkey did it go? I mean, you know, where we talk about Kickstarter so much and how there's plenty, like a lot of choices.
There is?
Well,
you know,
most of the time.
Sometimes can we come back? Can you ask me that question again later on when we get to
I'll touch on that later.
I don't think there's that much out there that you think there is. But that's just me, just saying. All right.
Fair enough. Well, I will at least show you the heads I win, tails you lose. So bring this up here. So yeah, heads I win, tails you lose. It's got some custom art on it. But this is the first time that they've done a full 100 card deck that you can play right out of the box.
Can you not normally play the cards out of the box like? Or do they have to get assimilated into your existing deck?
For a lot of the pre-constructed decks, they are designed to be played right out of the box. This one was different because it was designed after the Gavin Verhey, who's the head of R&D for Wizards of the Coast. This is based off of one of his own personal decks. So it has a whole new custom artwork. The cards are actually reversible, so you can pick and choose which art style you want to show. So kind of a cool idea. Like I said, it's the first time that they've actually tried doing a secret layer of a full deck. So we'll see what happens. But when that does come in, tune into the Jank Think Tank when I do the live unboxing of that.
There you go.
But I think it's time to go a little darker. Yeah. So my pick,
like that,
just like that. Yes, just wow.
Miss me.
You better hope you don't miss a show on TDC.
Hey, I'm the boss on TDC.
Hey, stuff happens. Stuff happens. I mean, the Dolphins could go to the Super Bowl, and you're just like, "Hey, I'm watching this. Peace."
Hey, if the Dolphins win the Super Bowl, I'm taking every show off.
Okay, we're gonna make note of that.
Maybe not all timers.
Fair enough.
I've got to rub it in the blood's face at some point, right?
Right. Yeah. What one can wish. Yeah. So the first book we've got is Cult of Icarus. This is by Scout Comics. We'll just run through. So the writer Jenna Lynn Wright, art by Carl Slominski. Let's see, letters by Taylor Esposito, and then editors Nicole Gandria, and production by Nate Johnson. This, how can I put this? A lot of action, a lot of punk rock, and a lot of vampires. That's the best way to put it. Yeah. So right off the bat, I mean, this is a true indie book. Just one cool concept. You've got a baby who was thrown from a car that has a very dark past, if you will. As she grows up, takes that very punkish lifestyle, if you will. But as she goes along, she's trying to find out more about her past, her history. Unbeknownst to her, it has a very dark avenue, if you will. To be honest, this was a fun read. Like from the very first panel to the end of the book, I was hooked. I really took a big bite out of it, if you get my drift.
Where's the light?
Miss me?
Where's the light?
I like the art style on this. Very grungy, very raw.
Was it something you could get your teeth into?
Oh
God! Hey, you started this, not me. Not me.
Okay, I'll give you that. I feel though that the art really fits the tone of the story, though.
Okay. And
I mean, it's one of those books that if you're looking for something new, that because we've seen an influx of vampire stories as of late. This one takes a different twist, and I'm okay with it.
It's good to see vampires not just being like a one-trick pony. You know? And admittedly, I've said that, and yes, I know people are going to say, but there's vampires in Twilight. There's no vampires in Twilight. Get it out your head. No vampires in Twilight. All right? There you go. Every other vampire stuff is fine, but Twilight ain't got no vampires.
Yeah. Well, I feel like this is more of a, if you were to take Buffy, but make Buffy a vampire, and then that whole tone, if you will.
It's interesting you bring Buffy up. Very interesting.
That's the correlation that I made just based off of the feel of as I was reading the book, because you think back to the TV show of the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s. It was very grungy. I mean, from the start of the intro music.
Oh, what a great theme tune.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, anytime any streaming service says, do you want to skip the intro? It's like, no.
Oh,
So for this book, job well done. I absolutely love it. Definitely one worth picking up, and it's worth the $3.99 to actually own. So what did you think?
Well, I kind of was a little bit more pensive, I think, with the book than you, in that as it starts out, I think page 5, the art comes across very Klaus Janson, all angles and scratchy line work, and then from that point on, it gets a little bit more, I suppose, regular around the faces. The bodies are still a little bit angular and stuff. And then when you get to the mosh pit and you see the panel there where the blonde singing and stuff, you know what? I felt the Buffy idea is a good shout out. I didn't see that straight away, but what I did get was a Susan of Tank Girl,
Okay.
and a throw in of the Black Canary book. Now I'm talking about the new 52 book where she's a punk rocker and ripped fishnets. It's me, so I'm going to get fishnets in here somewhere, right?
Of course. I wouldn't expect anything less.
Exactly. And that kind of, and look, I mean, there's a £9 page in here, so that doesn't tell you it's not that indie. Just saying. What I think stood out for me are the colours. So if jump along like page 12, 11, 12, and you can see like the background's turned into a red, and there's the explosion of the yellow behind the lead character there to show the emphasis and stuff. It shows you that it's a dark world that she's living in. It does get a little bit brighter in certain bits, but there's always that over sense of doom there.
Yeah.
It does get a little bit more scratchy towards the end. So I think would you say let's just check the artist again? So I think Carl Slaminski, I think he's got lots of influences going on. And I would like him to pick one.
That's fair.
But from a reading point of view, there's a lot of words. So it shows you there's that rights there for the long haul, planning the long game. It's a 4-issue miniseries, so to see someone in a 4-issue miniseries take this much time set at the table before all hell breaks loose next issue, that's kind of interesting. Especially because we're used to elongated storylines from certain publishers. But while we're talking about this, we have to give shout out to Taylor Esposito, whose letters. You know what? I don't understand why. I don't know why this guy's not working for DC or Marvel. To be fair, I mean it's their loss. I mean, don't get me wrong. The guys at VC are great. Clayton Coles and Coles even, and Joe Caramanga and all those guys. They're great. Tom Napolitano's fantastic as well. But Esposito's been doing this across the indie world now for quite some time, and it's not just Scout. He works on Zenoscope. He works on Dynamite. So if he's getting that much work from all these different publishers, that just tells you how good his letters are. And you think how much wordage or verbiage is in this book, it doesn't detract from the art. He's got his word balloon spot on. And one of the things, if you ever talk to him, which I have on Outside the Panels, you'll find that he's really keen on making sure that the bubbles, the word bubbles, flow as your eye goes across the page and not just randomly put in there to make conversation easier.
Yeah.
So it was an interesting book. I thought there's a lot more to come from it. So it'll be interesting to see. I've got a lot of time for Scout. I love Scout comics. They're one of my go-to for indie books. So there you go.
I mean, Scout Comics does a great job. Whenever they put a book out. So that was kind of the other thing that led me to it, was the fact that, okay, here's here's the publisher I know and I trust.
Yeah, and that's really important for someone like Scout when you think that they've got such a diverse portfolio of books.
Yeah.
It's not just like one style and done. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not having a pop at anyone from say like Aftershocks, but Aftershocks, their model is we'll lead you down the garden path and then throw a twist at the end,
Mm-hmm.
and it only works for so long, right? No matter what the vibe is, you
Yeah.
know. And so I like the fact that Scout tries so many different things.
Yeah, I like it. So definitely check it out.
That cover is very tank. That cover is very tank girl.
It is, and honestly, when we talk about judging a book by its cover, when I saw this, I was like, okay, we got a lot of very strong colors. Very, it puts it out there, but doesn't spoil anything about this story.
Yeah,
because I mean, we've had other books that either completely mislead by the cover. Wonder Woman.
Allergies. Is this like a new COVID strain where we just keep like shouting random stuff out?
It's borderline Tourette's.
Fair enough.
Oh man, but yeah, definitely go check it out. Totally worth the read, at least in my opinion. But I think talking about dark themes and stuff like that.
I'm not turning the light out again.
Well, you wouldn't be able to see the star if you did. That was a bad segue. We'll just jump into your book, Dark Star.
Right. Okay. So this is the second chapter of the Star Runner Chronicles from Atlanta Studios. This is a bit of a cheat for me. I have had the pleasure of interviewing the writer, creator James Watson over and outside the panels around Dark Star. James has taken a unique approach to publishing this book, which is a little bit strange in today's multi-faceted, multi-issue kind of scheme, which I'll come to in a second. But really, essentially, this story is all about the young blonde on the cover. That's Aurora. All right. So Aurora is an alien from another planet, and she finds she has the ability to change matter and get in between atoms and all sorts of stuff like that. Very physics orientated. If you'd like to jump into the book, sir.
Absolutely.
Thank you. It's funny you mentioned Buffy the first time around, because when I look through this book on next page, there you go. This screams Buffy. This book reads a little bit like Buffy, a little bit like Sweet Valley High, and a little bit like Supergirl. And there's a reason for this. The book is written in a way so it appeals to a whole wide spectrum of people. It's not dark and gritty, it's not twee where adults won't get anything from it. It's a book maybe just after teen, or teen around area. It's sweet. There's no swearing in it. There's comic book violence and stuff. There's no over sexualized characters. This is probably as pure as the comic as you're going to get. Right. So essentially what happens in the story, new girl comes to town, kind of takes Aurora's, I wouldn't say life, but starts insinuating, getting into her friends and all the lads she fancies and so on. All the while, Aurora's trying to work out her powers. Jump onto the next page for me, please.
Absolutely. Boom.
All right, so you can see this is where the Supergirl thing comes into it, because she's got like a hologram of her mother just chilling out there. It's a fun story. It's nothing too dark. It's nothing too heavy. It's a fun story. The art is gorgeous. Clean lines all the way through.
Mm-hmm.
Not even Freya would have a problem with this book. That's saying something.
Right.
What I would say about the publishing, this book's not out till April. All right. So this is an advance you're getting on this. Now, if you go down to your local comic book shop and you ask for their previews, all 3 issues of the 3-issue miniseries are in this month's previews, all to ship in April. Right? So you get the whole story, boof, en masse. No waiting around, no fanning around waiting for months or 2 months or whatever, because it's an indie schedule, who knows? It's boom. There you go. 3 issues ready to go. You can pick them all up in a month. And I think that's a little bit clever.
Yeah.
You know? Because I think, you've got to get a hook to get some sort of visibility on the stands, because there's that much product out there now. Not that I'm saying that some companies put a lot of product out. Marvel.
You might want to get that checked out. I'm just saying.
I'm getting a migraine. No prize to guessing where that came from. So, I think that's a really interesting hook. If I go into a comic book store and they can guarantee that I'm going to get the whole story in a month, I'm down. I'm down with that.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't be? Really?
I mean, yeah, the fact that I wish other companies would do that.
Well, I'm not sure other companies can think like that, I'm afraid, because they have multimedia cross platforms going on with certain movies that are coming out in a month's time.
I mean, what can you do?
But no, for me, this book, I don't know. When I first read this book, it caught me a little bit surprised, because I didn't expect it to be quite so wholesome. But it caught me at the right moment. Like a nice little, like a palate cleanser. It's like a lemon sorbet after a heavy meal. You can't live on dark and gritty books all the time. You've got to have something that kind of, changes up a bit. And you know what? Buffy, Supergirl, Sweet Valley High, touch of the Steph Brown Batgirl running there. I'm sold. I'm going to be all over this like Xavier Howard over a pass. There you go.
Yeah, definitely a nice break from the Hughes. That we'll go with that, from the Hughes.
Yeah. I mean, kids can read it. I mean, you talk to me about kids not getting into comic books. There you go. Poof, read this. You talk to me about girls not getting into comic books. Poof, read this.
Yeah, it's true. The first thing that stood out when I read this was, obviously, the artwork is fantastic.
Yep. So
solid colors is just.
So let's give out some shouts, shall we? Let's see. I've got it somewhere. Here it is. So I've said James Watson wrote it. So we'll go with pencils are by Lee Cordero, inks are by Carlos Eduardo, colors are by Mohan Sevakimi, and letters are by Wilson Ramos Jr. There you go. Apologies if I've said anybody's name wrong. If you haven't known by now, getting the names wrong is my mutant power. Which is why I live in England and not on Krakoa.
Okay. Oh, yeah, definitely one worth picking up, and honestly worth going to your local comic book shop and
I think so.
And ordering. I mean, that there's nothing wrong with that, and it's also helping out the shops too.
Yeah, definitely. It's a 3-book miniseries, and you get it all in a month.
So, do you think the pacing on, at least for what you've read, was spot on?
Well, I've been lucky because the book that we have is all 3 issues, so we get to read the whole. Yeah. Which is why we haven't shown you shed loads of stuff, because there's a lot going on.
Yeah. Don't want to spoil anything.
Exactly. I've got to say that the pacing feels right for 3 issues. I think it clearly has a beginning, and middle, and not quite the end because it's going to go into another volume later in the year.
Okay.
So it works. It's pacey enough. It's interesting enough. It doesn't. With it being 3 issues, it doesn't spend too much time doing what it's supposed to do.
Yeah.
It doesn't hang around like a bad smell. It's very much like, here's your story. There, it's over. Wait for the next one coming out in I think it's 6 months. I think they have one out back in November.
It's not like a doomsday clock where you get an issue every quarter.
No. No.
See what I did there? I thought it was pretty witty of me.
I still have nightmares, I keep looking at my comic collection. I don't know. Where's Dee's? Dee's will be over there on that wall somewhere. Up there. I keep thinking to myself, I should give Doomsday Clock another read just to see, because you read it in such fragmented states. I should read it in one bash just to see what it's really like. But
yeah. Well, I think what we're gonna do now is while you're having recurring nightmares of Doomsday Clock, how about we show you all one of the ads of one of our other shows here on the Undercover Capes podcast?
Do it. No prize.
Yeah.
Man, the professor and PowerPoint man. Well done.
So if you like Marvel, migraines,
take some tablets.
Yep. Take some tablets, head over, watch the show with the Professor, Bud Young, and Lucas as they talk about all your favorite migraine Marvel books.
And MCU and Disney, don't forget.
Yeah. There's been a lot going on over on that streaming service. So definitely a lot with a particular book of.
Well, how do you pronounce it? That's my question. Is it Bulba or Boba?
It's always been Boba Fett.
It's Boba Fett.
Boba.
Bob.
No.
Bob.
No.
Bob.
Okay.
Bob.
No.
Bob.
Because so I had, what was it, a few years ago, I had the opportunity to meet the great Jeremy Bulloch. He was the actor who played Boba Fett. He himself said Boba Fett. I'm not going to argue with the man himself.
Well, he's worth more to me alive. No disintegrations.
To be honest, I watched the first episode of that, and I haven't picked it up since.
I haven't to watch. I've actually picked up something completely different, which isn't comic related. I picked up Reacher over on Amazon Prime, and it's got the guy that plays Hawk from the Titans TV show.
Oh yeah,
as the Reacher character. Super violent, super good fun.
I need to get caught up and rewatch The Boys because we're going to get ready for a new season here soon.
Okay.
It's got Jensen Ackles as what was it? Is it Soldier? Yeah. Soldier. All I know is Jensen Ackles is in it. It'll be fun to see what he does with it. So,
everyone talks to me about Jensen Ackles being so fantastic, and then nobody remembers it was in Smallville for a season.
I remember he was in Smallville. He's better known, obviously, in Supernatural. He also does the best performance of Jason Todd in Batman Under the Red Hood.
Well, anytime that Jason Todd gets battered by a crowbar is always good fun for me.
But you have to admit his performance as Jason was great. We'll save that for an episode of the Definitive Crusade.
My mom said that if I can't say anything nice, I shouldn't say anything at all.
You know what? We'll ask Tracy what she thinks.
Oh,
and maybe even bring Matthew into that one.
Swear to God. Talk about unbiased opinion. Right, bring on the Kickstarters.
So, Kickstarter, a fun segment we do where we highlight a couple different Kickstarter projects that you yourselves can back, preferably after the episode, because we would rather you hang out with us.
It helps to watch the episode to find out what the Kickstarters are.
It's true. It is very, very true. So I want to pose this question before we jump into our campaigns. Mm-hmm. So I was going through, trying to find a campaign to highlight. And you had alluded to this earlier that there wasn't a whole lot. And the more I think about it, there really wasn't.
I don't know what's going on. Part of the things that I'm looking for in Kickstarter with British creators, because we talk a lot about American books, and American books are great, and we get American books over here, of course we do. But I think Kickstarter is a great way to promote some of the stuff that for both stateside and UK side. And when I started looking through the UK books, I went all. I didn't go to one particular genre. I went all so I could see everything. It was either nostalgia books or adult books, and nothing in between. Now, I don't know if I've just, haven't given enough time and I have to trawl through more books. I don't know. But I get sex sells. I get it. The whole music industry or female element of music industry is underpinned by the idea of how much clothing can I not put on a woman while she sings a song. I get it. It works. People remember songs, not just for the lyrics, but for hey, this is the video where she's doing the dance and all that sort of stuff. I get it. All right. But sometimes in this world, comic books take the hit for this sort of stuff. And it's not just comic books that have this salaciousness. Where's the people debunking? I mean, it's the Brits. As we're recording this, as we're doing this live right now, it's the Brits Awards in the UK. And I will bet my bottom dollar there will be some half-naked pop star doing whatever it is to do, and everyone will be going, she's great. And she is great. She looks great. She sings great. She's fine. Throw a picture of a half-naked woman on a comic book, it's like, oh my God, you can't pose a woman like that. More people will see the music video than will see the comic book. But that said, the amount of adult Kickstarters that are out there, you're not helping the idea that comics aren't just about sexy women. Please. Thank you.
Yeah. Do you think that...
Which is ironic considering the book I picked.
Right. Do you think that Kickstarter is the avenue for these creators to get their books out there, partly because publishers won't pick up those titles?
Maybe, but then... So, maybe. But from that point of view, you've got to think that, humor is a very personal thing.
Yeah.
Right? So one man's laugh out loud is another man's, oh my God, I can't believe he said that. Right? And like with anything else, if you don't like it, don't buy it. In Kickstarter, if you don't like it, don't back it. Simple. No hooks, no crooks, right? So for me, I think it's how do you want to position yourselves? Now, there's a whole bunch of like Kickstarter companies or people who produce comics under a brand name on Kickstarters who will look to be the next Zenoscope. Now, I've got nothing against Zenoscope per se, other than the fact that the covers look a gazillion million times better than the art inside.
Yeah.
If people want to buy Zenoscope books, fine, go buy Zenoscope books. I don't have a problem with you buying Zenescope books. You know, what I have a problem is when that becomes the main I suppose thought process that the book has to look a certain way. The book has to. I don't know, man. Do you want to be a Zenescope, or do you want to sort of like mature onwards? Is Kickstarter a place to sow your wild oats, as it were, before pulling out that serious comic book? And if it does, everything on the internet stays there forever. Do you want to be James Gunn and then say something 6 years in the past and then come back and bite you on the ass and get you kicked off a major deal? I don't know.
Yeah.
What the, you know, there's got to be more out there. I mean, surely you see where I'm coming from with this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, the fact that I had to scroll through, I mean, I was spinning my mouse like it was freaking Wheel of Fortune to try and find something that wasn't over sexualizing women, that wasn't, a lot of sex. You know, I felt like I was in like a sketchy part of Vegas there for a hot second.
I honestly, it's like jungle models in danger. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And then
and the crazy thing is, you know, if we were to look back last year or even the year before, I mean, they were there, but there was a bigger variety of books to choose from.
I'm glad it's not just me that noticed this. I mean, there was, when we've done this Kickstarter, I know I've probably picked a couple of racy ones, but other than that, we've had some really good ones. We had that Steampunk Star Wars book that was great. You know, we've had just some daft, fun books that were just fun.
Yeah.
And, it's just, I picked a homage to the old Jane comic strip.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Nostalgia.
Yeah.
I mean, I looked through Kickstarter today, and there was a parody, a Gotham parody, and I was like, no, I don't want to talk about it because it's a parody of Batman. If I want to talk about Batman, I'll do it on TDC.
Yeah. Well, let's jump in. Since you've alluded to that, I think that's a very fair segue into your pick.
Great.
Blam and Glam, the comic.
Right. So the reason I picked this is, one, there wasn't a great deal to go with to pick from in the first place. And on first glance, this book reminded me a lot like a bit of a steampunk Barbarella, well, maybe not steampunk, but a bit of a Vampirella, Cry for Dawn Vampirella style book. So she's called Glam, the character. Blam's the gun. There you go. And they live in a kind of alternate of 2020, 2021. The pandemic is still in there. But now you've got demonic mecha machines have taken over the world. Glam is an amnesiac. She has no idea what's going on, but she knows she has to stop these machines. So she tries to do that by herself, dressed like some sort of cross, as I said, between Cry for Dawn and Vampirella. And that was the saving grace for me. If it wasn't for that look, I probably wouldn't have picked this book. But I thought to myself, well, you know what? Everyone knows who Dawn and who Vampy is, so that's fine.
Yeah. It almost as I was looking through more to make sure that we could show it on YouTube and not
okay,
and not get demonetized again, because
I don't think there's anything.
The audio guy will. Oh God, I don't want to hear from him.
Don't go past covers and art then.
Yep. Nope. This had more of a. It reminded me of Barbed Wire.
Oh yeah. Bit of 2000 AD thrown in there.
Yeah. And I like the fact that they've named you know, they've given the name to the gun, and that's part of the title.
Yeah.
So
it's like Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's give out some dates. This has already achieved its goal. It's had £4,040 pledged towards a £1,000 goal. It's you can get from it's a London UK book.
I mean, you can get issue 1 and 2.
Yeah,
right now.
Yeah, there you go. There's all sorts of crazy. I forgot what the word is. Extras that you get should things go haywire. Some of it becomes a little bit more adult as it goes through. But what I will say is, if you get a chance to look at and we're probably not going to go through it because we don't want to show too much of this. But if you look through the link that you can see on the screen, you'll find out that the guy who drew this, who created this, is a designer, painter. The colors look great.
Mm-hmm.
The colors look great. It's got that kind of angular, not quite reality thing going on. 2018 a little bit.
Yeah.
I think from what I can see on the Kickstarter page, calling it adult a little bit of a misnomer. It's from what I've seen, it doesn't look any racier than Vampy. So
yeah, I was gonna say we've seen worse. I don't know if that's definitely we've seen more racy types of books. Now the one thing that I appreciated most about this when I saw it is the fact that they've included a blank cover version.
Hey.
So you can go and have your favorite artist create their, and have your own custom book.
Yeah, your own blam glam.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
So if you like one of the Zenoscope cover artists,
there you go.
Shout.
That's a shout. Yeah.
Take you to a convention and see if Neil Adams will draw something for you.
I bet it looks like Talia al Ghul if he does.
I'm sorry. Can you explain the issue with Talia? There is no issue. No.
Hey, I haven't got a problem with Talia. I'm just saying Neil Adams drawn women.
Yeah,
always look like Talia.
I like Talia. I mean, who doesn't like Talia?
Talia, people talk to me about Talia being a strong character and she's all this and she's all that. But to be fair, she's only great when she's acting against or with somebody else. You find a Talia story that she's not interacting with Raish, Lex Luthor, or Batman that's any good. There you go. Boom. Mic drop.
Fair.
Don't. All right, so Kickstarter, what did you go with?
All right, well, the one that I found was it's interesting.
Okay.
So I selected The Kid and the Ripper. So so the whole concept is taking two characters from history and they meet and work together. So you have Billy the Kid and Jack the Ripper.
All right.
Again, it was either that or some sex-loaded thing.
So you went with an outlaw and a killer of women instead. Great.
Well, the fact that so created by Nick Listine, the fact that he took this crazy concept of two real life historical figures and they have them together. I mean, it was interesting enough that I was like, okay, let's dive into it. I thought the artwork was great from what I've seen, and the fact that they really maintain, on the scenes of Billy the Kid, it's very light, light and colorful. When you jump over to Jack, it not so much. And that was the thing that really kind of caught my attention to it. And so taking two characters, putting them together, and then creating a story out of it, now I'm hooked. Even in these panels with Billy the Kid and Jack the Ripper in the same panel, they still maintain Jack is in the dark, Billy is a lot more bright in color. I don't know. It was something different, and I was like, you know what? Let's run with it. Let's see. The fact that you can get, the PDF at just $9. The $16 pledge, you'll get volumes 1 and 2. And then if you want, now that was the interesting thing. Like, as you go through, okay, $21, you're getting a lot more PDFs, but then $32, you're getting the actual book. So, and then in addition to that, you're also getting the PDFs. You're getting your book signed by Nicholas Doan. Nick, if I butchered your name, my apologies. It is shipped anywhere around the world. So another bonus. Again, double check. How much shipping will be.
That's a shout. That's always a shout.
Yeah. Domestic shipping is included, but anything outside the U.S., that'll be added. So make sure to double check that before backing.
It's got 22 days to go, so you've still got plenty of time to get in on this.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. I mean, so far they've only raised, $2,400. So a ways to go, but I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised.
They've covered, the books, a Kickstarter was last month. You've got 22 days to go. You've already pretty much hit a quarter of what you need in 8 days. So you're pretty much talking that, you should be fine, to hit that margin so you can get your book. An interesting take. Not two characters that I think to put together, to be honest. And kind of, the two separate characters. But the idea of them starting afresh and then running afoul of each other does have opportunity for humor, especially when Jack comes against, the saloon girls, which I'm sure will happen. Yeah. So.
I mean, and the fact that there's fishnets, not the best drawn fishnets, but fishnets nonetheless.
Well, it is true. But just for anybody who thinks I'm a fishnetist, I like all of the thigh highs as well. So just say. No stockings in me. There you
go. Well, what can you do? But that's going to be it. We got 2 books, 2 Kickstarters.
Yeah, we're back. We're back in business, baby. Woo-hoo.
Yeah, we are. Woo! So we'll have some new books, new Kickstarters. Hopefully, Kickstarter or indie creators can come up with something new other than the concerns that we've raised today.
Well, I might, I might try and reach out to a few of the guys that I've been speaking to on OTP, see if they want to come on and have a chat about the books and stuff.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, get some guests
been a while since we've had a special guest. I mean, I think it's kind of special that you're here on the show with me. I have a blast. I know.
It's not even Valentine's Day yet. I'm not wearing the fishnets again.
On that note, we want to thank each and every one of you guys for tuning in to this episode of Flipside Focus. Make sure to check out all of our other shows on the Undercover Capes Podcast Network, including
the Old Timers Comic Book Show, where the hosts aren't old, but the comics most certainly are. There is a Valentine's special coming up next week.
Ooh.
Tainted Love. Whoa.
Oh. And then we've got our episode of the Definitive Crusade that will come out tomorrow at the time of recording. So make sure to check that out. Good
one. That was a good blast. I had good fun with that one.
Yeah.
We always have
a fun time on there. What are you talking about?
I was just going to say, watch out for one of Freya's rants. It's class.
It's true. Very true. And then, as always, as we mentioned midway through the show, we've got No Price Podcast for all of your Marvel needs. The Jank Think Tank for all things Magic the Gathering related. The Wayan Wepa show.
The Wayan show.
Yes, with Al and Dodgy.
Yep. That's just all about stuff. Of course, stuff the National Comic Crusaders that goes out on Sundays.
Yep. So, and then sloppy spoilers as well. I believe there will actually be a new episode tonight, if I recall. So,
what you got to think about sloppy spoilers, you got to think there's a certain movie coming out in a few weeks' time. I wonder if they'll get to talk about that.
What movie is that?
Well, it's not The Matrix 4. Thanks.
No. No. Maybe it'll be the re-edit of The Godfather Part 3.
Maybe it'll be a re-edited version of Twilight. Where we actually
you do realize Lance is probably going to give me hell for mentioning Part 3 of The Godfather.
Well, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, okay.
That's on you.
Spoiler, The Godfather Coda, the death of Michael Corleone, not any better. But we're going to wrap it up for this episode. Oh, jeez. There we go. And as always, make sure to check out comiccrusaders.shop for all the reviews, a lot by John the Machine Hughes.
Thank you.
So, and that's going to be it. We will catch you all next time
on the flip side.
Visit undercovercapes.com for the latest and greatest podcasts via the Undercover Capes Podcast Network. Also visit our parent company website, comiccrusaders.com, all about comic pop culture.